Hi, and welcome to FindLaw's 5 in 5. It's a show that takes you through 5 interesting legal stories from FindLaw.com in about 5 minutes. I'm Joe Fabush, a lawyer and a senior writer here at FindLaw. I think I got some good stuff for you today, so here we go. The first topic I want to discuss is kind of heavy, but there have been some recent developments in death penalty policies among the federal government and the states. Now, Americans are split on the effectiveness of the death penalty, and that's reflected in laws at the state and federal level. It's a criminal punishment in 27 states, as well as the federal government and the U.S. military. But only 5 states executed an inmate in 2023. The law on this issue is constantly evolving. Recently, the Department of Justice indicated it is seeking the death penalty for Peyton Gendron, who gunned down 13 people at a top supermarket in 2022 in a racially motivated massacre. This will be the first time the DOJ has sought the death penalty during Biden's term. Additionally, Alabama recently executed an inmate using nitrogen gas. This was the first ever state-sanctioned killing using this method. Alabama had previously tried and failed to execute convicted felon Kenneth Smith in 2022 using lethal injection. On January 25th of this year, the execution succeeded, but eyewitnesses described the pain and suffering Smith endured differently. Alabama has pledged to continue using this method. So while opposition to the death penalty remains, there does not look to be momentum to end the practice in some states or the federal government anytime soon. In lighter news, I wanted to talk about how people may occasionally use social media to promote something they've done at work. Doing a podcast comes to mind. Now, fashion designer Haley Paige Gutman had success on reality TV show Say Yes to the Dress, as well as on her social media channels where she promoted designs made while working for her employer. But the relationship soured, and now Gutman and her employer, JLM Couture, are in a legal battle over who owns those channels. Initially, a court gave control of the accounts to her employer, but recently the Second Circuit overturned that decision, saying there were too many legal issues yet to be resolved. While it's not clear who ultimately will control those successful social media accounts, it's an issue to be aware of if you mix personal and business accounts in your career. Can you be arrested for asking a question to a police officer? Well, no, but surprisingly, if you live in Texas, Louisiana, or Mississippi, the answer could one day be yes. Police in Laredo, Texas, used an obscure state law to arrest citizen journalist Priscilla Villarreal, who published information about the suicide of a Border Patrol agent before the information had been released to the public. This was crass, yes, but was it illegal? Villarreal sued for a violation of her First and Fourth Amendment rights, but recently the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals said any potential First Amendment violation was beside the point. Instead, the Fifth Circuit held that officials in Laredo were entitled to qualified immunity, the judicially created doctrine that gives police officers and other officials immunity from lawsuits in all cases except for those who are plainly incompetent or knowingly violate the law. Texas journalists may want to take note. Speaking of the Bill of Rights, there's Second Amendment news. Recently, the Third Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that Pennsylvania's law banning individuals aged 18 to 20 from carrying firearms during a state of emergency is unconstitutional. You might wonder how often a state of emergency is declared, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the opioid crisis, and Hurricane Ida, Pennsylvania was in a state of emergency for 3 consecutive years. The decision, influenced by Supreme Court precedents such as Heller, held that adult teens are as protected under the Second Amendment as others. The ruling prevents enforcement of Pennsylvania's law and allows these young adults to openly carry firearms during declared emergencies. It's a significant expansion of gun rights for this particular demographic. And finally, I want to talk about how former Tonight Show host Jay Leno has petitioned for conservatorship over his wife Mavis. Mavis has dementia, and Leno is seeking to manage her personal and financial affairs. Conservatorships are legal arrangements allowing someone to make decisions for a person who's unable to do so for themselves, often due to cognitive decline. Leno seeks to secure Mavis's finances, including creating a living trust and providing for her brother. Now, if you've heard of a conservatorship at all, it may be in relation to Britney Spears, who famously had one that did not go well. Now, that's not what's happening here, but conservatorships are often a last resort. They can sometimes be avoided by creating a power of attorney and advanced healthcare directive. This avoids the need for court intervention and can allow you to appoint someone you trust to manage your affairs if you become incapacitated. Please just consider this a friendly estate planning reminder from a concerned lawyer friend and speak to a local estate planning attorney if you're able. And I am over time, so I'll end it there for this episode. But as always, you find more information about these and other legal topics on FindLaw.com. If you have questions, comments, or interesting legal stories to share, please reach me at FindLawPodcasts@ThomsonReuters.com.